Hello everyone, it's Nicola Grace, the Mission Mentor here, and a very warm welcome to this training from Purpose to Profit, where I'm going to show you my proven 5-step formula to build sustainable growth in a purpose-aligned business you're passionate about. We're going to look at how to get more clarity of direction and purpose on a number of areas that you need in order to be clear on your purpose and build that sustainability. So there's no more frustration going around in circles, trying to figure it all out as you go, and no more doing around in circles, doing stuff that isn't getting you those real results, and no more thinking around in circles, right? You go round and round in circles with your thinking about what it is that you need to succeed, whatever success looks like for you. So here's a fun fact before we get started. In a survey done in the UK recently, it was found that people who reported a greater sense of purpose and direction in their life outlived their peers. So in other words, you're more likely to live longer when you're clear on your direction and on your purpose. So that's kind of a cool benefit of building a business that aligns to your purpose, right? I really like that. A bit of housekeeping before we start. Can you see the question box there to the side of the presentation? So feel free to firstly say hi and let me know who you are, where you're from, and what you'd like to get out of today's training. And then as we go, if you have a question, put it in the chat box. And if I don't have time to answer it in the presentation itself, I'll certainly answer it towards the end. And if we run out of time, I can also flick you an email to get it answered. And for those of you who are watching the replay of this, I'll certainly answer your question as quickly as I can because it comes into my email box. So hopefully you got a chance to watch the video on me and my life story, as I want to launch right into the content in a minute here. So I'm not going to rave on about myself, but I do understand that you need to feel confident that I'm walking my talk with what I'm teaching you today. So here's a quick rundown of my bio. I'm a serial entrepreneur of 30 years, and I am much older than I sound and look. I've had 7 different businesses in various industries, 20 years in online marketing expertise. I've consulted with thousands of entrepreneurs, professionals and business owners and business startups from many cultures around the world. And just recently I realized I'd actually idea incubated over 1,000 new social businesses doing good in the world. I'm a multi-best-selling author, speaker and a business mentor, and I'm an intuitive visionary, which is a fancy way of saying I'm psychic. So some of the achievements that I've made that has made my mum proud is me winning the award in 2008 for saving $1 billion industry within 6 months, which I did in 2006 when the industry had floundered to do that in 7 years. And that made me an award-winning strategist. I also appeared as the feature speaker in social entrepreneurship in the bestseller Motivational Speakers America. I dominate the front page of Google for the search term monetize your mission and monetize your mission for world change, which my mum thinks is kind of cool. And my daughter's famous on Google. And I've beaten 2 types of cancer. So success hasn't come that easy to me. In fact, it's been a bloody uphill battle most of the way until I started applying the Purpose to Profit formula I'm going to be teaching you today in my own business. And that's when things really popped for me and for my clients too. Okay, so let's look at who this training is for. It's for entrepreneurs, business owners, wanting greater alignment to their purpose so they can experience more passion, reignite their business, and build sustainable leveraged growth, but maybe you're lacking a bit of clarity of direction. And you might have been doing everything other coaching programs and gurus have been telling you, but not really getting those abundant results that you'd hoped for. This training is also for professionals that are looking to start a business aligned to their purpose. Maybe you've got a vague idea or no clue as to what that is and what you need to focus on. So you're also needing some clarity of direction. And it's also for experienced business owners, entrepreneurs who sense there's a bigger mission out there, new work downloading, and you're wanting to make a serious impact to contribute to maybe even transforming the world if you are in the transformation business, and possibly needing some clarity and confidence in your ideas and abilities, or just needing some help in where do you start. So if that's sounding like you, you're definitely in the right place and investing your time wisely today. It might even extend your life. Who knows? I'd love it if you could also put which one you're in, by the way, out of these three here, just so I know who's here. So my mission today is to give you clarity on all the nitty-gritty details you need in place to have a solid foundation and structure for a business that aligns and fulfills your purpose and mission, makes a big impact, makes the money you want, and builds sustainable growth. And here's why I think you should drop everything, like turn off Facebook, Skype, you know the deal. I'm not, you know what to do, right? So you can focus, stop multitasking, and stay all the way to the end of the training today. And I think this is really important because 90% of businesses today are more likely to fail, which means they're getting into debt, they're not being able to sustain an ideal lifestyle. So it's 70 years ago, you were only 48% chance likely to fail. Today, it's 90%, despite all of that free information, all of those business seminars, coaches, gurus, books, and so on. So that makes no sense to me. It should actually be the opposite way around. So obviously, the majority of what is being taught out there is not working. Otherwise, we'd see a very different success rate. And that might be why you're not getting the results that you'd hope for, because you're following a model that's just not going to work for you. And I think it's largely because the world has changed. And Roger Hamilton, who's my co-pilot in my business, talks about how 12 purpose-driven waves are fast disrupting 12 industrial model corporations. So purpose is changing the world and it's building a new economy. And I think that's exciting. In fact, we're now at tipping point on purpose and the need to contribute to the greater good. It's now a deciding factor for global consumers. 50% of consumers will consider their contribution or purpose as a reason to buy from you or someone else, according to the Elderman Trust Barometer. Now that means you can't just exchange goods and services for money anymore. You need to add this thing called social capital to the exchange. And it's not enough to say, I donate to charity if you buy from me anymore. We've evolved from that. You actually have to provide customers with a sense of purpose and contribution if you want to maximize sales and reach that 50% and growing consumer base. Otherwise, you're leaving money on the table. So the business model obviously has to change because the world has changed. And really, the old model hasn't ever worked for most of the people most of the time anyway. So I'm going to be showing you my purpose to profit formula, which is a model you can't get wrong because it's not about following my formula. It's the formula that helps you find your unique mojo lane where competition ceases to exist, as you're offering your unique gifts and talents in your unique way to the right audience with the right message and offers. So there's no more cookie cutter based business building on an old industrial model that is fast becoming obsolete. We're going to say goodbye to the cookie cutter unless you're making cookies. So if you stay with me all the way to the end, some really cool things are going to happen. Over and above you getting clarity of direction and implementable strategies, firstly, I've just launched an Impact 1 Million Lives campaign, which means every time something happens in my business, a humanitarian project gets some funding. So if you stay all the way to the end today, I'm going to give water to a family for a day. So the more people who stay to the end, the more days families receive clean water. And that means that girls are freed up, normally having to go fetch water, and they can now go to school because they don't have to walk miles and miles and miles to get some dirty water with their mums. And that in turn raises the prosperity in the community. So the other cool thing that will happen is that I'm going to send you to a link to download the entire Purpose to Profit formula wall chart with all of these blanks here filled in that you'll be able to use for the rest of your business life to check in and see where you're out of alignment. And I've found over the years that no matter what challenge you'll face in business, the solution can be found by tweaking or realigning something in the 5 principles you'll be learning today. And having this keeps you very focused on what's going to work. So here's an example of what I mean by that. This is Katia, who had created a product that was getting sporadic sales. And when she worked through the Purpose to Profit formula, we found out that there's key elements missing within her purpose and her monetization alignment. So once we got realigned and rebuilt her monetization offers, changed her marketing to make it more purpose aligned and resonant, within 6 weeks she reports she's increased her sales by 200%. And now further down the track, she's created sustainable cash flow and she's developed a whole lot of other products. Now that's the power of alignment. It has speed and the ability to turn things around with some minor yet fundamental adjustments. So are you excited about the possibilities for these kind of fast results in your business too? I really hope you said yes to that, because excitement actually helps you learn. So let's get excited, because here's the juicy stuff we're going to be learning in the training. You're going to discover the secret to aligning more fully to your passion, your mission and purpose in a way that attracts a steady flow of ideal clients, customers or participants. This is where you get to where Katia is in her business, where things are flowing and growing easily. You'll learn the right way to build your monetization and offers so it's easy for you to create stability of income and break double 6 figures, then scale to 7 figures. That's where you really get to make the big impact and have the lifestyle you want. I'll also be revealing the secret to recognizing and removing resistance from your brain to end procrastination, build unshakable belief in yourself and create magnetism, because that's when things get a whole lot easier, not having to struggle to get your results or work long hours for it. Without this piece, you can get stopped in your tracks and you want to become an unstoppable force for good in the world, right? You don't want to keep getting stopped. Then I'll go into some details on the 5 core principles you will have learned and how they're going to transform your business and build sustainable income as you make that big impact and build your legacy. Making sure, of course, that you're always doing something that you're passionate about. And I'm going to walk you through how I help people align to the Purpose to Profit formula, showing you how the transformation unfolds at the end. And if you're interested to have me help you implement this into your business or startup, I'll give you a couple of options that you can choose from to do that. Okay, so what is the secret to aligning more fully to your passion, your mission, purpose, in such a way that it attracts a steady flow of ideal clients, customers, and participants? Well, this is what you're really after, right? You want to be passionate about what you do and you want to impact lives and you want the flow to be there so your income isn't happening in fits and starts, right? So sustainability and stability is what you want. Well, the first part of that secret is to clarify your expansion methods. Then use them in your activity focus, your offers, your social media, your marketing to create the flow of customers. Now, bear with me. I'm going to explain what I mean by expansion methods in just a moment. But first, I want to tell you how I discovered this, because this was me in 2005. Only I was on a doctor's patient bed in that exact same position, being told I had final stages melanoma cancer and would be dead in 3 years. Now, prior to that moment, I was working 6 days a week in my organic day spa. I was bringing in a lot of money, but the profit wasn't there, and I was getting more and more stressed. And over the course of that very stressful year, a friend of mine kept saying to me, Nicola, this isn't what you're supposed to be doing. It's not supposed to be this hard. You're obviously supposed to be doing something else. And he would repeat this over and over and over again to the point that I would get frustrated and go, I don't have time to figure out what my purpose is. That's a luxury. I'm too busy trying to make money to grow my business and succeed. And I'd rave on and on about, but I was passionate. So how come this isn't my purpose if I'm passionate about what I'm doing? I'm sure you've felt this yourself at some stage. You're doing something that you really love, but it's not working out for you. So you go, how come this isn't my purpose if I'm loving what I'm doing? So my attitude was that money came first and I had to have the money coming in to pay the bills, pay the staff and grow my business. So I didn't have the money for a life coach to help figure out what was missing and what I obviously couldn't see for myself. And I was thinking, just let me make some money first. Then I'll have enough that I can prioritize this work. Then, whoa! My soul obviously had other ideas and I ended up with stage 4 melanoma 5 months after that. I filed for bankruptcy as the rug got pulled out from me in my business. So the universe gave me no choice but to prioritize hiring a life coach and getting clarity on what the heck I was supposed to be doing and what did I need to do so that life was going to get easier for me. And the big, huge lesson for me in that was that when you focus on what you can do to make money, you may win and you may lose. But ultimately, you lose because you're disconnected from your reason for being here. And that in turn means you're losing out on ultimate fulfillment in life. You're not in your flow, so things like money won't flow as abundantly as it could. You see, we think we lose money by investing in ourselves. But the loss is in not investing in ourselves and the clarity we need to powerfully move forward in a fulfilling way. And I also learned that when we focus on what our soul expressions are, these things called primary expression modalities, this is how we're here to expand. So we can only expand, right? We can only expand. So we apply that in our business, and it means we expand our influence, expand income, expand you, expand your reach, because we're actually tapping into our natural talent and gifts in these soul expressions. We're tapping into our higher potential, which in turn means we're more likely to succeed. So here's a list of what I mean by expressions, and there are hundreds of them, and here are a few of them. We all have about 5 to 8 that have dominant motivators, and they need to be expressed in our businesses in order for you to have the fulfillment, tap into your higher potential, and get into flow. I've seen all the time when people's businesses aren't fired up or they're not fired up, they won't be expressing these modalities in a direct way in their day-to-day. And as soon as you start synergizing all of your primary expressions, leaving nothing out, the mojo magic begins to happen. So if you're not building your business from your higher potential and your natural gifts and talents, I'm calling this mojo, then we work way too hard, obviously, don't we, to get the results we want, if we get them at all. And it's the hard way to build your business and attract a steady flow of customers. But if you prioritize finding and implementing your primary expressions into your day-to-day, then you're not only in your flow, everything else in your business begins to flow from clients, customers, opportunities to income. So can you imagine what your life could be like if you're operating from your higher potential, in your flow, and in this ever state of expansion, expanding your experience and obviously expanding your income? Pretty marvelous, wouldn't it be? So if you want that marvelousness, if that's a word, finding out how you're here to expand, where your higher potential is through the synergy of your 5 to 8 primary expressions, then this is your first priority and everything begins to fall into place from there. So once you've located your expansion methods, we need to take the alignment process this one step further and align it to nitty-gritty details of your purpose and mission so that you create greater resonance in your marketing to attract that steady and stable flow of customers. So in step 2 of my Purpose to Profit formula, Locate Your Mission Mojo, we're looking for those nitty-gritty details that form the core of your business model, or that solid foundation that you can go out and build sustainability on. Now, not many people make this finer distinction about your life mission versus your business mission, but it's important because it's part of tapping into your mission mojo, which is your ability to achieve the extraordinary. So your life mission is actually how you're here to affect the evolution of humanity and the planet. It's not what type of work you're here to do on the planet, right? So you know what that precise mission is, and you align it to your actual business mission, you begin to get the support of the universe in a very powerful way because you're siding with the evolution of humanity, which is unstoppable. It's a given sure thing, and you just need to look at history to see that that's true. So over the many years of reading people's souls' mission blueprints as an intuitive visionary, I've discovered that the soul's preferred way for you to journey through life is very rarely followed. Most of us are just a little bit off, which is why we end up living small lives. And one of those areas is around niching. So I've discovered that we all have an ideal soul niche of people who share common values and complementary missions. So when we focus our niche market and our offerings to this group, that's where we prosper, right? That's the niche that will make you rich. It's a completely different approach to niching from where I'm going to make the most of the money. And when you discover what your precise message is for that niche, then this is where you really begin to find that unique place or your unique mojo lane. It gets defined. So you can position yourself in a way where there's no competition, right? It's you and your uniqueness. And because your soul's purpose is all about expansion, now what we need to do is align to the higher purpose, because that's where your expansion is. So essentially, we all have many higher purposes, and these are the milestones of how our purpose unfolds through our life. So when we're on track and we get sense that something else to do, it's not that we weren't on purpose. It just means there's a higher purpose. The soul is ready to expand and it's time to step up to the next level. So you're evolving and so is your purpose. So you'll have higher and higher purposes as you evolve through life. Do you get that? Now, this next part of aligning to your mission mojo is super important because the world has changed and is changing fast, as I've said. When it comes to looking at all of these elements here I've got on the slide within your purpose, you need to be thinking also about how do I then monetize considering the sign of the times, not considering what's available today. So in other words, where is the market moving to, not where it is right now. And this is probably where I'm dramatically different from other business coaches. They look to what's working now or what has worked in the past, ignoring the fact that change is happening at a rapid rate. So obviously, you need to get on and stay on people's lists to have a handle of the future and what's coming and, report about these changes to stay abreast of them. I'm one of them. I often send out my predictions and forewarnings. Roger Hamilton, my business mentor, is another. He's got a lot of future pacing in his work. Robert Kiyosaki is another one. And I think I'm one of the few female futurists out there that's very vocal about reporting what I'm seeing coming up. And who you follow is really important because I've got new clients coming to me for the very first time complaining about programs they've done and still not getting the results, or not getting those abundant results that were promised. And when I ask them, well, what have you actually done? They may say, I learned all about funnels and webinars, for example, but they hadn't got the foundation of their business or its structure in place first. And my response to that is, well, hang on a second, why are you going to learn about how to do webinars and promote your business and put in sales funnels, etc., when you haven't even determined where your mission mojo is? Or what's your unique position in the market, or what is your message? People try and build businesses and figure that out as they go. And that's not the way you're going to get the results. So you're setting yourself up for these disappointing learning experiences if you're not building from your higher potential and you don't get this stuff sorted out first. You're attempting to do things, in other words, the really long, hard way, as I found out. It's kind of like driving off in a new car before all the wheels have been put on or all the cylinders are in place. At some stage, that's going to catch up with you and stop you. And you're going to have to do the repair and go back to the beginning and start all over again. Now, what a waste of time that is, considering all you need to do is get this alignment work done first and you're off and away with all four wheels and all six cylinders are powering you along. So are you starting to see the power of this alignment as well as the chaos that you create for yourself if you don't prioritize this alignment? So you align to this mission mojo and things begin to flow because you're tapping into that higher potential and soul magnetism. But one of the biggest issues I see here, even when people get clarity, there is this secret thought in the back stopping them from moving on, and it says something like, do I have the ability to succeed, or will this just fail again? And in my experience personally and as a business mentor, I see this over and over and over again. So here's the deal and the power in these primary expression modalities. Your mission mojo is your natural talent to achieve the extraordinary beyond what you think you can achieve. And you can't fail at what you're really here to do. It's not possible. So if we look at how this works practically, here's Naina, who had that kind of doubt. And when she started to get clear on her soul expressions and her mission, she was flooded with doubt. So many, yes, but who am I? How am I? Who's going to pay me? All of that doubt came up. What if I fail? So prior to working with me through this formula in my Right Mission, Right Money, our mentoring program, she had spent years trying to figure it out and really not getting any clearer and not overcoming the doubt. She had chronic fatigue and was scared, being a high-powered corporate lawyer, that she'd never have the ability to run her own business based on her purpose and make enough money. She says she's got the most specific information she could ever get hold of in relation to her life purpose. And more importantly, tapping into that purpose and passion, she began to spring out of bed, so she found renewed energy to actually move forward. And now she's become the attractor factor. She's in flow. She actually is always telling me she's turning people away because she's got so many people contacting her on LinkedIn. That's obviously where her mojo lane is, right? And she's building her training and consulting business with very little effort because of that flow that she's now in using this formula. So can you really see the power of this mission mojo and the attractive factor that you can have that's going to help you get into that flow? This really is the secret to aligning more fully to your passion, your mission and purpose in a way that you're going to get that steady flow of income and customers. It's the alignment to all those nitty-gritty details of your purpose, not just some of them, getting your expansion methods and your soul expressions into your business activities and have all of those elements of your mission mojo. And that forms the core of your business idea, like what is your business and what is your position and what is your brand as well too. So once you have that in place, then you can begin to get clear on the type of offers, products, services, or programs to offer that's going to fulfill that expansion, fulfill that purpose and mission. So you're answering the yes, but how do I make money from that, right? Because sometimes people will have ideas and it's a great idea, but they don't know how to monetize it. So I've just outlined step 1 and step 2 of my Purpose to Profit formula, which is about align, as you see the red circle around here on the slide. And that's all about getting into your mission mojo flow. And I'm going to go into a bit more detail about that when we recap towards the end. But right now I want to move on to the monetization and look at what is the right way to build your monetization and offers so it's easy for you to create sustainability of income and break double 6 figures, then scale to 7 figures. Great question, right? So before I'm going to answer that, let's look at the wrong way. Well, firstly, you can't be a one-show pony anymore. So in other words, you can't just be offering one type of service or one type of product. Those kind of businesses are the first to go under when a competitor moves into the market with better marketing and more money than you. So the one-show pony business is also vulnerable if technology replaces what you're offering. And if you're looking at building a coaching and consulting business right now, then you need to research RoboCoach, because this will very soon make what you're doing now or what you're thinking of doing into the future redundant. And this is what I mean by getting to know the sign of the times so that you're not monetizing that's, in areas that's soon going to be made redundant. RoboCoach is a desktop robot being trialed in the medical and business world to help people solve problems. So it will be the new Apple to the coaching industry, the medical industry, and the consulting world. So much like the very first desktop Apple Mac sent a whole lot of other companies to the wall and it revolutionized our lives, the moment RoboCoach becomes affordable to the average household, you'll see a lot of coaches, doctors, and consultants go bust unless they readjust their business monetization model right now. I mean, it's right now that you've got to make that adjustment so you're ready, because this thing is on the assembly line getting ready for mass production. And you can no longer do things just for money either. That's the quickest way to struggle, get into debt and make yourself redundant. Because remember, you need to be adding that social capital in the exchange of your goods and services for money. Now that trend is growing past tipping point now. And it really started with Anita Roddick's Body Shop, just to give you an example of what social capital is. You felt good going into the Body Shop to buy a product from the Body Shop, right? Because they were campaigning to save the rainforest and to stop animal testing in the cosmetic industry. And I love this quote from her. I think it's bang on. If I can't do something for the public good, what the hell am I doing? Now, she really pioneered this idea of social capital, social entrepreneurship, which is part of the right way to monetize your business, to future-proof it so you can build that sustainability. So in step 3, what we're wanting to do in the Purpose to Profit formula is establish our social business legacy model. And then in step 4, we align that to your starting point to Now Money Now. So I'm going to break that down one step at a time, because this concept is no longer a luxury in your business. And once again, I learned it the hard way. Because after I lost my organic day spa and went bankrupt, I spent several years researching and working with a life coach on what my purpose was and what my new business should look like. And I started doing all these free programs online, showing up for all the free seminars, implementing everything the gurus were telling me to do. And I ended up going around in circles, starting stuff and never really getting the results. And that's because, as I learned, that when you build your business that way, following all the free programs, there's no strategic rollout and there's no strategic development. It's just piecemeal. And so you live from meal to meal with your finances too when you try to do it that way. And besides, you never really get the full picture. There's always key or critical pieces of information missing because there's no time to give you a life's worth of business experience in a free seminar or a free program. So to build your business that way, it's just plain crazy and a false sense of progress. It's like working on your business with the lights off. Now, does that sound nuts to you? I didn't think it was crazy at the time. And the problem for me was confounded even more by the fact that I was super busy implementing. So I mistook being busy, creating funnels, free programs, gifts, attending free webinars, courses, and all that kind of stuff for progress. So I actually thought that I was moving forward. But when I examined how much money I'd made over the 2 years of all that busyness, guess how much it was, right? The ridiculous amount of $1,900 over 2 years. Now that's completely nuts. Lucky for me, I had another source of income that was paying my bills, but I was really struggling to get this new direction sort of clarified. I stopped doing so much free stuff and invested in a business coach that gave me the strategy, got me the foundation, and it took me to 6 figures in 10 months. And things turned around when I moved heaven and earth to find the funds to actually make that investment. And you see, while I had a general idea about what my purpose was, I was missing the nitty-gritty details, and I most certainly didn't have my monetization model right for me, following everybody else. So I got way off track to my unique mojo lane and how I'm supposed to show up in the world. And I was building according to everyone else's cookie cutter model, which was to get busy building stuff so that in 6 to 8 weeks, you get this massive payday to make up for the weeks where no money was coming in. And guess what? That massive payday never came. So I went back to the drawing board, re-examined my success with saving that billion-dollar industry in 2006 and removed a lot of money blocks and found the secret sauce. You want to know what that is? Yes? You do what you're here to do in your offers, not what the gurus tell you worked for them. So speaking on stage, for example, it's not going to work for you to build your customer flow or financial flow if speaking and communicating aren't part of your soul expressions, as an example. Now, there's going to be better ways for you to get that flow or a different way to use speaking to get the customer flow if you actually need to speak in a practical sense for your industry. Now, you'll also need to be delivering the message you're born to deliver to the niche you're here to serve and prosper within your offers. The offers can't be separate from your mission and your message. And again, you don't want to be following what the gurus are telling you is a lucrative alternative. You're going to struggle doing it that way because you're squeezing a round peg into a square hole. You also need to be aligning your monetization model to principles in nature that give you leverage. And leverage is really important going into the future. Not using traditional business models that are fast becoming obsolete and then they're not adjusting to the fast-paced change that's occurring is crazy. And now here's the big key here. You want the Pareto principle to build your abundance, not frantic marketing of a whole lot of different products, services, and programs all at the same time, hoping you're going to make lots of money. You also don't want to focus on long-term high-end payoffs the gurus are telling you until you have the now money now flow. See, that's working for them because they've got the now money now flow. So they've got the money to invest and to pay their bills while they're building the high-end stuff. So let me break this down for you piece by piece so you can see the power of this. So my monetization model is called the circle the wagon strategy. Literally, this is the strategy I took to that billion-dollar industry. It utilizes laws of nature to create leverage and legacy. When you align to what are the undefeatable laws of nature, undefeatable because no one has ever been able to beat them or change them, then you make your strategy like those laws. Undefeatable. And that's what you want, right? You want unstoppable, undefeatableness. Now the concept is that you place your income goal in the middle of the circle and you have 7 offers surrounding it to create mass. And I'll explain why in a minute. Now, you're not going to create all those 7 offers at once unless you already have them, but just by knowing what they are and how you'll progress your customers through those offers, you can quickly and easily build your authority in the marketplace. You build mass, so you become more attractive to prospects, which then in turn increases your attractor factor to draw to you rather than have to chase for business all the time. Is that cool or what? This is synergizing your offers to do the selling for you. So why 7 offers? Why not 2 or 5 or 19? Well, you can have many offers, but the synergy and gravity happens in series of 7 or multiples of 7, 14, 21, 28, etc. Now, where have you heard those numbers before? 7 days in a week, 21 days in a moon cycle, right? There's a completion in the number 7 that makes up what we call septimal law. And this is the law that Napoleon Hill of Think and Grow Rich studied, among many others, to build his wealth. So 7 offers build mass, which attracts in and of its own accord. Therefore, it increases your attractor factor. Now, my secret sauce to my success, both now and when I save that industry, does come down to these words of Gandhi. If you want to learn about life, plant a potato and grow and watch it grow. Now, in other words, observe nature and learn. And I've also studied a lot of Buckminster Fuller and how to integrate what he calls these generalized principles into my life and business. And I think the success that can be gained by doing this is really summed up in this quote by Buckminster Fuller. Nature is a totally efficient, self-regenerating system. If we discover the laws that govern this system and live synergistically within them, stability will follow and humankind will be a success. So, did you get that? Sustainability will follow by living synergistically within nature's laws. And I've found this to be so. So let's look at how to build that synergy and sustainability, taking septimal law and the law of mass attraction to build gravity towards your monetization offers. So you're not having to do the hard sell. Well, the law of mass attraction is literally the law of gravity. I call it mass attraction because it's the size of the mass that forms part of whether or not you're the attractor factor or you have gravity. So gravity, that attraction pull towards you rather than someone else, occurs when you're the greater mass closest to the thing you want to attract. So that's why you can be the best unpaid secret there is, and someone else can make way more money and have way more influence than you, even though they might not be as good. because they've got the greater mass than you do. So gravity, or the attractor factor, is dependent on how much mass you have compared to the distance you are to that which you want to attract. So let's look at that practically. Which do you think holds more attraction for you? Someone with a website you just happen to find who sells one product and service in a niche, or someone who has 7 offers in the same niche and you start seeing them in a number of places online, maybe on billboards offline as well? You're more likely going to choose the one who has 7 offers that you keep bumping into because they look like they have more expertise and they know what they're talking about, right? So when you build your circle the wagon strategy of 7 offers and then you put them on your website, even if you haven't created all of them, you begin to look like an authority in your field and you begin to build gravity. You have mass. And now you can add more mass to that attractor factor by making sure those offers are either created, delivered, or marketed with you focusing on your sole primary expressions instead of doing all the bookwork, for example, if that's not your expression. And they all service the same niche that you're here to serve and prosper in. And when those offers are on the road to fulfilling your life's mission and delivering the very message you're here to deliver, that helps evolve humanity and our world, then you've pricked up the ears of the universe and its laws to start working for you to create that attractor factor even more. And now you add your social capital, and how are you going to provide a sense of purpose to your prospects and a sense that they're contributing to the greater good when they exchange their money with you, and you really have your mass building like gangbusters here. So is this beginning to make sense to you, right? Now, to build the sustainability, the flow of income, and create your wealth through abundance, your focus should really only ever be on marketing 1 or 2 of the offers, and then the rest of the offers are either upsells or downsells in price, and they get offered to your first line of customers. And the prices I've got on the slide are just an example. They're not literally the prices that you should have. It's just going to depend on what your industry is. So this is putting the Pareto principle to work to build your abundance. So remember, if 80% of your profit comes from 20% of your customers, then you need to build your model so it services your customers more than you focus on bringing in new customers for each of those products and services separately. You focus your day-to-day, your month-on-month activities on now, money now offers, which is your first 2 offers in the Circle the Wagon strategy. Now, these are offers that have you expressing your primary expressions and bring in weekly cash flow. And you can very quickly get to 6 figures by just offering one offer that upsells to the next offer. And that's actually not that hard to do with this model. And then you can scale really easy to 7 figures by laying out the other offers one at a time. Or your marketing focus should only ever be focused on the front end of the funnel until the whole thing is built and automated, because the Pareto principle will build the abundance on the upsell or the downsell to your clients and customers. So this model keeps you narrowly focused to increase your sales and build your abundance naturally without running you ragged. So this is also the model that can help current business owners or professionals transitioning into a new business direction, because it's the now money now concept that builds the bridge income to give you the confidence that you can take that leap and go all out. So just imagine being way more relaxed in your business day to day as sales, new customers, clients, participants flow in weekly, and outgoings are taken care of and abundance is now accumulating. So what's life going to look like if you're in that flow? It feels pretty good, right? And that's where you get to be able to reclaim your time. You can do the things that you want to do, or birth new work, or write a book, take an extended sabbatical. So is it worth your time, resources, and effort to achieve that? I think yes, and I hope you do too. Of course it's worth your investment. How else are you going to get there if you don't invest your time, your effort, your money, your resources, etc.? And I want to show you how powerful this Circle the Wagon strategy is at helping you transition into a new direction gracefully without income loss. In the story with Stephen, who had a business that was trucking along, but he wasn't passionate about it. He found his passion and he got his monetization method sorted to quickly build a thriving coaching and training business, even though in his hometown, Cape Town, South Africa, was in recession. So it's not easy to get a coaching business off the ground, full stop. It's a highly competitive market, least of all building sustainability in a recession. That's how powerful this model is. And he called me a few weeks ago to say he's closing up the other business now because he's able to transition full time into doing what he loves. He's using the formula I give for the elevator pitch that adds soul resonance in it. And he actually literally does better than me in networking events, which is how he's building his business, because he opens his mouth and boom, he gets clients. Now that doesn't happen to me because that's not my mojo, but that happens to him because he's found his mojo lane. We know where to put him. We know where he needs to be marketing based on his primary expression modalities. And this is really the power of the Purpose to Profit formula. You find your unique mojo lane and you can laser focus on what is going to work for you and not waste your time doing stuff that will never work for you, right? And Stephen says he'd never be where he is right now without Right Mission, Right Money, which is the mentoring and training program I teach the Purpose to Profit formula in. Now, the right way to build your monetization model and offers then so easy for you to create stability of income and break double, 6 and 7 figures is to establish that social business legacy model. That's the 7 offers that have that all important social capital, and then narrow your focus on marketing the now money now offers that lets the Pareto principle take care of the wealth building and the abundance. Now, I know as I'm presenting these case studies of ordinary men and women doing well, in the back of some of your minds, there may be some self-doubt or thoughts, right? And it goes something like, well, that's all very well for him or her, but what about me? Do I have the ability to do this? Is this what I'm really here to do? Will I have the confidence to action? And the list of self-doubt limiting thoughts chirps on, doesn't it? We all have them. That's why this next secret is so important for you to know and then master, and that's recognizing and removing resistance from your brain to end procrastination, self-doubt, build unshakable belief in yourself, and create magnetism. So here's a fun story. I saved $1 billion industry, right? I actually saved 30,000 jobs, 3,000 businesses according to a government survey. Millions of people got to maintain health choice, and I didn't get paid a penny. What? Well, I laugh now. What happened there though? But you know what? I spent some time at my computer one day really trying to nut what had happened here. And I saw this holographic image of my brain in front of me, and the left and the right hemispheres were operating separately to each other with no connection. In the right side of my brain was this belief that you shouldn't charge to serve humanity, and the left side of the brain was this belief that you've got to work hard for money. And the crazy thing about this is that if you actually believe somewhere it's not okay to charge for your God-given gifts or to serve humanity or to charge for your purpose, right? That should be done for free. Those kind of thoughts. But here's the crazy thing. Somewhere then we must believe or find it acceptable that it's okay to charge to exploit the planet and do a disservice to humanity. Because if it's not okay to charge for your gifts and serve humanity, what is it okay to charge for? That's completely nuts, right? So you see this thing called split brain hemisphere syndrome causes thinking that in turn causes resistance to charging what you're worth, charging at all in some instances. It causes resistance to taking action, procrastination, being indecisive when you know the action you need to take to advance you. It can stop you in your tracks. It causes resistance in some severe forms to even investing and getting clear so that you're moving forward with power and clarity and certainty and confidence. I see this a lot. People go in the direction of going, yeah, I'm going to do this. Yeah, I'm going to prioritize this. I'm going to get clear on my purpose, get clear on my direction. And then something comes in and it distracts them and throws them off the scent. That's resistance bouncing back. And this happens because we've got some crazy crap tied up in our thinking around purpose, money, and making a difference that we've inherited from our ancestors. So scientists are telling us 50% of our thoughts are inherited from our ancestors as far back as 50 generations. And when you look at the history of money and purpose, and purposeful work, they've been separated in our thinking for quite some time. So that's why we have a world where we're all educated to go to work to make money to pay bills and taxes instead of learn what our real purpose is and build our livelihood around that. But that is changing, obviously, because we're the generation of change makers that are making that paradigm shift. But we still have to contend with this ancestry belief system, because if we don't, it will hold us back and cause resistant behaviors like procrastination and indecision, a lack of self-confidence and self-doubt, and so on. And this is imperative, I believe, because money and purpose aren't natural companions. So you have to solve that so they are companions. Also, we've got ancestral memories telling us that bad stuff happens to change makers or misfits. And that causes us to have this collective group thought system that says it's safer to do nothing, don't rock the boat. If you do, bad shit will happen, right? So we have to dissolve those thoughts so that doesn't actually happen. That's our mandate, I believe, as change makers. We have to succeed at this because our purpose and our missions matter. They have to succeed not just for us and our families, but also for all of humanity and the planet. We've got to get over that it's safer to do nothing, don't rock the boat, for sure. And you'll never reach that abundant, sustainable place in a purpose or mission-driven business while that split brain hemisphere syndrome exists in you. But when you do marry this mission, purpose, and money and reward, you can make that 7+ figures doing something you're passionate about relatively easy. And there's a happy marriage between money and mission. So when you've reconciled this split, the resistance it causes ceases, and also your soul's magnetism has the ability to naturally attract. It can shine through unimpeded. And this is where you get the flow that really starts to pick up momentum and growth to get to that level where it's sustainable and stable. And I know for some of you, you'll be feeling, but can I really break free into financial abundance, especially if you've been working hard and struggling for a while and you can doubt, am I ever going to get there? Do I have what it takes to build that financial freedom? But here's the thing. We are all naturally abundant and gifted. So in the absence of the resistance and those limiting beliefs, the split brain hemisphere syndrome, your natural abundance is going to be able to guide you to what you need to do physically to build that abundance in a way more efficient way. Let me show you what I mean by that. This is Dean, who's a master healer, and several years back, he was struggling to make ends meet despite being amazing at what he does, and he wasn't getting any younger, and he was growing tired of the one-on-one. So when he went through the process of alignment that dealt with the split brain hemisphere syndrome processes that we do in Right Mission, Right Money, he says he had a definite shift and the flow tap turned on. He went from a one-on-one model to doing more traveling, leading workshops and got the leverage in there. But not only that, he started attracting clients and people all over the country that volunteered to promote him to come to where they were. So now he's taken his healing to a whole new level and it's getting out to more and more people, and he's got that abundance happening and that flow happening. Now this model is really powerful, not just because I'm connecting you to the soul magnetism and nature's laws and removing resistance, but because it's so comprehensive and it's complete to cover all the challenges of getting a new business off the ground or moving in a new direction within an existing business or picking up momentum in one that's kind of like floundering to really get to that level of abundance that you're looking for. So I'm really glad I was able to share the secret of creating more magnetism by removing split brain hemisphere syndrome, because sometimes once you're 100% aligned and things are still taking their time to manifest, this step is where you're going to live. I promise you that. You clear away and you clear away, you build your new thought system, you clear some more until you break through. That's why I'm here in a business that I can retire from next year if I want to, because I live in this step and I keep referring to my formula whenever I get out of step. So very important to remove that resistance and heal split brain hemisphere syndrome. Okie dokie. Well, let's just do a quick recap before we move on to my final 2 points. We've talked about aligning more fully to your passion, mission, and purpose in a way that's going to attract a steady flow of ideal clients and customers, by focusing on your activities on your primary expressions in your offers, your marketing, and then fulfilling your mission, and get tapped into that mission mojo, your higher potential in the niche you're here to serve and prosper and with the message you're here to deliver. We looked at the right way to build your monetization is to create stability of income and break 6 and 7 figures, needing 7 offers to start with that service the same niche, express your top expressions, fulfill your mission, and then focus on the 2 offers that you're going to bring now money now in, and let the Pareto principle upsell and downsell into offers to build the abundance. And then, of course, to remove resistance from your brain to end that procrastination and build that unshakable belief in yourself. Create that magnetism by healing split brain hemisphere syndrome. So a quick check-in here. Are you feeling excited about the possibilities of you being so aligned that you're an unstoppable force for good in the world as your income builds sustainable and abundance? Are you excited about that? You should be. Or maybe a little bit of both here, feeling that's a lot of information, right? Maybe you're a bit overloaded there. So what I want to do is I want to take the overload out and step you through the 5 core principles that make up this Purpose to Profit formula again, showing you the transformation that happens along the way. And as I do that, I'm also actually going to be showing you how I teach this transformation within the Right Mission, Right Money mentoring program. Now, seriously, just about every problem or challenge you have in business can be solved by greater alignment to this Purpose to Profit formula. I've watched people fall over in businesses over the years. I've watched my graduates go through inevitable challenges, and I've added layers into the formula to make it very comprehensive and complete, getting everything you need at the foundation and structural level of your business to bring in growth, pick up momentum, and enjoy the abundance. So if it's okay with you, can I show you how I help people build that highly leveraged, sustainable, purpose-aligned business, making that impact, making that stable income and legacy? Is that okay with you? Hope you said yes. So as I mentioned before, I help you align to all elements within your Purpose to Profit formula in my training and mentoring program called Right Mission, Right Money. And by the way, I have a slide coming up with the link where you can download this map with all the answers filled in, so you can have this alignment, growth, and scaling reference for your business forever and ever. So the Right Mission, Right Money training and mentoring program, in a nutshell, you have 6 training modules. And each of those modules is actually a course in and of itself to get greater and greater alignment, build that foundation, get that clarity, and build a structure for sustainability and impact. It's not like other courses where you get bogged down in learning concepts and then applying. You're self-discovering, soul-searching, and actually applying the alignment from the very first module in the soul-searching and self-discovery work. So you are working both on your business, which you should be doing on a week-by-week basis, and you're working in your business to implement it as you go. And I think that's why so many participants start seeing results within a few weeks. Now we start by showing you how to recognize all the clues your soul is dropping you as to what your mission mojo is and what direction you need to be going in, what your higher purpose is, where your success path is, in other words. And I mentor you through a very insightful soul-searching process I call the DNA of self-discovery, because it's about finding DNA as in like codes, right? The codes of your life's mission blueprint. It bypasses the outer mind and goes right into the soul for answers, and I direct you into that deliberately, which is why so many people get results in this program when they haven't got them in others. So in module 1, you're going to clarify those expansion methods. So this is where the magic begins to happen. Looking at those clues, how are we going to synergize them all? What does us tell us about how to put your business model together? What does it tell us about how to put resonance in your marketing and in your offers? And on the journey in this module to discovering all of that, you're actually connecting more fully to your soul guidance. You're building trust in your intuition, and you're removing societal programming and finding the values and the words that not only resonate with you as being important, but also give us clues as to how to build your resonance copywriting and your marketing, so your soul niche group's going to recognize you as the one they want to work with. And module 1's really all about clarity, direction, focus, passion, purpose, building the attractor factor. And we also get some really great info to help you position and brand so that that can also be in alignment and with your purpose and have the attractor factor. So there's no more wondering what you're supposed to be doing. There's no more doing activities that don't inspire you or don't fire up your passion and excite you. Now in step 2, locate your mission mojo. This is all the nitty gritty details about what is your purpose, what is your life mission, how does that fit into your business mission, and we really niche down. Who are you really here to serve and prosper with, and what messages, what's your niche message or your niche topic, and find your unique mission mojo lane here. And we're going to work together also to put your social good messaging in place, so you can have that all-important social capital. And there's finally no more wasting time going around in circles trying to figure all of these details out as you go, so that way you end up struggling to get that abundant growth and you're leaving money on the table because you're not showing up how and where you need to prosper. We're going to find out where you need to show up to prosper and make that impact and build that sustainability. Now, I know some people will think this is all sounding great, but I don't have time to do this discovery work. Yet somehow in the back of the mind, it's okay to waste time going around in circles trying to figure it out on your own, right? I don't know. It's a curious thing. It's a false sense of economy. So I really want to reassure you that this is the foundational work that ultimately saves you time and money going back to the drawing board when things didn't work out. It also brings your big payday closer faster because you're heading in a straight line without going around the roundabouts at every stop and turn. And I cannot overemphasize enough that part about getting this foundation piece right, because I hear comments like this all the time. As an example, Belinda Ortiz from California says, "I wish I would have met her," meaning me, 3 years ago. It would have saved a lot of time and money. I hear this a lot. So what was happening with Belinda is she was following all the gurus, trying to build her healing coaching business and working in the wrong niche. She's an amazing healer, does an amazing work. And just by tweaking her business model and getting that mission mojo alignment right, she gets the clarity and the confidence to move forward. And then what happens is pretty similar to Dean, actually. She starts to get to have people promoting her in the workshops that she was doing, and then moves further along in the business to where she can take some time out. So things have changed for her and there's flow there now. Now in Module 3, we get to the business of building your social business model that has that mass attractor factor. It pitches you as the authority in your niche. It's got leverage. You're charging the right amount. You're no longer a one-show pony, and you're maximizing the profit as well as getting that clarity on what your value ladder looks like. What are your upsells and your downsells, and what are your pricing, and how are you going to move people through your world so that you are maximizing that 80% profit rule of the Pareto principle. And in Module 4, align your starting point to Now Money Now, we're going to get laser focused on where do you start, what offers are you going to start marketing, and how are you going to start marketing so it all aligns to your purpose and you can build the cash flow that allows you to then start building the abundance. Now, by the time that you get through modules 1 and 4 in order, you're actually overcoming another yes, but I see people have a lot. Yes, but what if I don't have confidence in my abilities, or I lack belief I can do it, right? What's beautiful about Module 4, which is aligning your starting point to Now Money Now, is that you're starting at the 4-foot line, which I teach you all about. And that means you're starting with what is easy and doable for you, and you build from there. So whether you're just starting out and you lack the confidence in a new direction you're going in, or if you're a mature, seasoned entrepreneur and you're using this program to birth new work, head in a slightly different direction, step up to a higher purpose, we're going to look at what is the doable thing that's repeatable that can build that cash flow really fast. And then you build your confidence that way. So by the time it comes to take the big leap, then it's not so scary. If you do it the other way around, you just have too much resistance, and that can really suck up a lot of time. If you build from this 4-foot line I'm going to teach you, you're building your confidence to get ready for the big move. Leonie Sloan, who's now married and called Leonie Fitzgerald, was a classic example of how this principle works. When she first did Right Mission, Right Money, she was a high earner for a real estate investment and training company, and she wanted to build her own business, but was fearful of the loss of income and whether or not she could make it out there on her own. So we built her monetization model, and we actually had her begin to implement some of the first pieces within her job so she could build that confidence and get ready to go out on her own. And I love this thing on the left here. This is actually a post that I screenshotted from Facebook where she's shouting out to me to thank me for the coaching and the guidance that she received, because here she is now. Not only is she out there in her own business and everything's going well, she got featured as an expert in the local newspaper, and she's been voted as one of the finalists for Women in Business Awards of Australia, which is fantastic to go from self-doubt and, procrastinating and taking a bit of a while to get there to now being a finalist for Women in Business Awards, I think is absolutely amazing. See, what Leonie was also doing was working through the step 5, which is continually removing resistance, getting rid of those resistance patterns, which is why in this module, I'm helping you identify what are your core resistance patterns so that you can move powerfully forward with some strategies to overcome them, because resistance is pretty much always going to be present at every level of your business. Sometimes it's just quietly in the background, and other times it's raging in front of you. But you're going to be learning how to overcome your own limiting beliefs that cause that resistance and remove those blocks using a belief busting process that I actually use myself to help me overcome cancer. You also can use it in any area of your life to bust through blocks. And there's a number of clearing sessions in here that are very specifically designed to get that split brain hemisphere syndrome healing. Because you need to break that negative self-talk habit in order to have success. There's just no two ways about that. You also need to break the ancestral habit of separating purpose with money, so you can charge what you're worth and you magnetize people willing to pay that, right? And you learn how to do that in Module 5. You're going to walk away from this training much lighter, excited, centered, very clear, crystal clear with your direction and tools to bust through your blocks as you go, so you actually follow through on what you're building and you don't get caught up in that procrastination. So can you see the power of this comprehensive, complete formula, right? Not like other programs where it's just one piece and it ignores some fundamental pieces that would make that one piece work for you. Then I actually take you one step further in Module 6, where we're going to prepare you for the challenges ahead. Let's put a strategy together that transitions you from where you are now to where you want to be. It also supports you as the challenges come ahead. You've got strategies to deal with your fears, fear of failure and fear of success. And I've got a section in there also on how to pick the right coach or learning program going forward, so you're not accumulating all these programs that aren't going to work for you. So there's no more frustration about making a difference and building sustainable income. You're there, you're doing it, you know what you need to do to get there, and you're away. And you know what's great about the Right Mission, Right Money program? It actually gets you in touch with the bigger life that you're meant to live. For example, this is Enrico in Johannesburg. He's gone on to build enough profit in his media business that he can leverage himself out of it and focus more on his new business in leadership marketing to SMEs and corporations. He's just about to move into a dream home in a sustainable village, which is what he's always wanted. He can reclaim his time as well. His business can now also support the investments he wants to make, so his money is making money for him, and now he's set up to go global. And Enrico said he received so many gifts, but also here I wanted to point out to you what he says here about it being very practical, and things he thought he knew but he didn't know how to implement have come together because it's been made practical, and that's key here. I'm very, very practical. This is important because I do know a lot of courses out there around teaching purpose, and some business courses are a bit fluffy. and feel goody. And that's nice, but I'm driven by getting results for myself. And so obviously if I'm going to do something for others, I'm going to make sure that that ethos carries through in everything that I offer. Bottom line is that if you follow the formula, each of the 5 steps, you will elevate up to a trajectory of a much bigger life and a bigger impact, which is what you want, right? So take Susie, for example. Over the course of the Right Mission, Right Money, we worked to monetize her primary expansion method as a philanthropist, which is not that easy, right? Because philanthropy is giving away money. It's not making it, right? But we got there, and I introduced her to my business mentor, Roger Hamilton, who she's now in business with, incubating impact dynamics with him. And there she is on the left, sharing the stage with him. And on the right, she's been featured in his organization's Facebook page, Entrepreneurs Institute, doing big things, making a big difference, very passionate about what she's doing. It's fantastic. So as you see these case studies, this program's working for a wide variety of entrepreneurs and professionals and startups, people just beginning. So for example, it works for coaching. If you're a coach and you're looking at going into a coaching business, here's Lisa, who says, discovering my precise mission and niche has made a profound impact in my business. Working with Nicola and going through her mission blueprint process revealed the missing link for me. Within 3 weeks, I had a complete shift in my business. I got noticed by a top executive at Google as well as top Google influencers. I doubled my following online, and I was approached by influencers in my niche to work with them. Nicola's process is unlike anything I've ever done before, and I've been in the business of personal growth for almost 20 years. That's really key there. That's the attractor factor I'm talking about that you get with this program. Imagine what the possibilities are for you if you finally got all of those missing pieces of the puzzle working together and synergizing to give you that kind of speed and magnetism that Lisa and some of my other clients I've mentioned here have had. Now, you're probably thinking around about now, well, that actually sounds great. I'd love to do this program if it makes sense, for me financially, right? How much is it going to cost? That's always in our mind around about now. Now, I'm going to get to that in the next slide. But first, I want to create some transformation for you right here, right now, because as an entrepreneur, if you want to be successful in your business, you actually need to get off thinking like that. And you need to think in terms of not whether or not you can afford it, but what is your return on investment? Because in business, you do need to part with money in order to get success back. That is just a fact. So you want to think of, what am I going to gain when I invest my money and my time here? And then also, what am I going to lose if I don't do that? If I just continue to do this on my own, what's my loss? Because that will give you a clear indication of what the actual true return on investment is. And whatever that is in your mind, it's actually not what you're going to be paying for the course. I can assure you of that. So let's go through the breakdown of the value that you're getting here. In module 1, I could charge $1,900 for that, just for that module alone. In fact, each module is actually a whole course in and of itself that's worth far more than what you're going to pay for the entire program. By the time you get to the 6th module, like a course within a course, it all adds up to just over $9,000. So those are the training modules. Now, over and above that, you're also going to receive my personal guidance and intuitive insight over 2 special group guidance sessions, so you're not going to be left alone. I personally look through all your clarity assessments and help you shape your positioning, get finer distinctions on your mission, your purpose, your monetization, and we make sure that you're 100% on track. So these aren't Q&A sessions like other programs out there. They're bona fide me getting in, rolling my sleeves up and giving you each individual guidance. Now, I've had someone in my last month's group session actually say they've had so many light bulb moments listening to me mentor people through their self-discovery findings that it had so much value before I even got to them. So you're not just going to get my guidance, you're going to get the borrowed benefits of the rest of the group, which is invaluable really. And this extra guidance session that brings the total value of the program to $10,000, and you only need to start with an initial investment of $325, so it's over 4 installments. Now, if you're someone who likes to save money and save $300, then with just one installment, the whole mentoring program is $987. So you'll see the link in the chat box that you can click there to view the entire offer. You can hit that link to go register if you're ready to start. And there's an extra special bonus for you if you are registering now before we close the webinar, which I'll tell you about in just a moment. Now, you can easily make this money back following the implementation part of each of the modules. In fact, module 1 shows you very specifically how you can make that money back within a few weeks. And some of my graduates have even made it back within 24 hours of registering. So, of course, there are some bonuses valued at over $3,700. Now, these prices are real value, not inflated, because I believe that you get crap karma when you're dishonest with people. So I'm very modest in my pricing. So let's have a look at all of these bonuses. This is the clearing the common blocks to knowing your purpose, which are 5 clearing sessions on all the places I've identified people get stuck in, and we're just going to dissolve those blocks. Then there's the Facebook group for my grads. And this is where I put in tools. We do networking. So there's people that have formed business partnerships with the networking done on this Facebook group. And you may even find people that you can joint venture with. Then there's the Mission Mentor pep talks and training for that's delivered over the course of a year. So each month you're going to get a new video for me, pep talking you, keeping you on track. And I love to give this bonus because I know that there are going to be days where it's going to be, let's face it. And if I'm in your ear every month, I'm just behind you, helping you, pushing you forward, keeping you motivated, keeping you inspired. You also get a $1,000 discount off my Leadership and Legacy Business Retreat. Now, this is very hands-on where we unpack your business and we look at the various elements within this model to make sure that you're getting the best results you possibly can. You'll find information about that on the website. Now, this retreat isn't a pitch fest, by the way, like a lot of the other free bonuses you get out there for events. We actually get together. I'm sitting down next to you. We're sitting at tables together as well, networking. We're really unpacking your business and we're moving you forward in a very significant way. You get a lot of hand holding from me in person. Now, here's a super duper bonus that's only available to those who register from this webinar before it closes in about 10 minutes, which means once the webinar is over, this bonus is gone. And that's an exit strategy power session valued at $500 with me, not someone else, it's with me. And remember, I'm an award-winning strategist. So where do you think your business will be if you had my strategy skills, my psychic and intuitive insight on every aspect of your business as we help you map your path forward for success, right? You'd be further faster, wouldn't you? And I'm really well known for giving so much value in a private session. In fact, Barbara Gumman said you'll get more value in an hour than you can possibly dream of. And remember, this bonus of a success strategy session put together for you by me is not available once this webinar has ended. So don't drag your feet if you want to be part of this amazing community of changemakers getting well paid to transform our world. So if you're ready to get that big breakthrough and finally get on with what you're really here to do, making much bigger impact and the money you deserve, then you want to go ahead and click the link right now in the chat box or the image that appears there so you can go to the registration website. And if you do that, you're going to get that extra bonus of that success strategy with me that's not advertised on the website. So really the decision to be made is whether you want to plod along for the next few years exactly how things are right now, trying to figure everything out on your own, losing out on the money you could be making right now and the impact you could be making by not having clear focus or a solid purpose-aligned foundation versus just getting it done, having everything in place within the next 6 weeks with my guidance from somebody who's been there and broken through and has got some processes for you to help you get it right the first time. You actually already know whether you need to do this course because you've resonated with what I've been saying and you've been saying yes to some of the questions that I've got. So really it's a matter of, do you think you're worth the investment to take that big action step now? And for some of you, it may mean you need to do a bit of hustling. You've seen a big possibility for your life here today, and it begins to happen when you take action. So if you're in, sign up right now before we close the carts. And you really do have everything you need to clarify your purpose and direction, build your monetization model, and get that leverage happening and becoming unstoppable by removing all that resistance. And your only job is to follow along with the mentoring, the guides, the implementation checklists, and the action guides. And you also have me guiding you every step of the way in your ear through all of the processes in the audios and the videos, so you're not going to be left alone. Now, I really have over-delivered here for a couple of reasons. I'm actually doing really well in my business, and I want to now reach out and help more people succeed in their missions, because that's where we're going to get this exponential change, transformation on the planet, and the world really needs it right now. So I've priced both options where I could be passionate to show up and give you my all, and where you can easily fit this into your business building budget. So if you're resonating with what I'm saying, you're excited to learn all these nitty-gritty stuff, you really want to work with me, then head on over to rightmissionrightmoney.com to get those special rates. And there's also an image in the side there that you can click. So if you look to the side right now, and you see in the chat box there's that Right Mission, Right Money image, and there's some words above and below. Click any of those and it takes you over to where you get those specials. Now, right now, this minute, you're most likely going to be one of these 5 people. You've already decided to do the training with me. You know which option you're going to do, and off you go. You could be one of those people who's still sitting on the fence and you want to do it, but for some reason you're putting off actually taking the action right now, possibly putting it off in your mind going, could I do this later? Maybe there's a bit of a money thing you've got to sort out or some time. Or you could want to do it, but you've got a few questions that you need to get answered, and we're certainly going to get onto those questions in just a jiff. If you have questions and you haven't put them in the chat box, now's the time to do that. There is a bit of a delay in those questions coming to me. Then there is the type of person who, for whatever reason, you've got no intention of investing in yourself here, but for some reason you're still here. and maybe you just want to see how things are done, and that's okay. Finally, there are those who would love to do this program, but you think you don't have the money, which I want to address first right now, because this is serious if you don't have this kind of money to invest in yourself and your business, and you're wanting a business, because you know that it takes money to make money, right? And you actually need to know how to make money. You need to know how to go out there and make money so that you can do what you need to do to grow your business. So if you can't manifest, there's something blocked there. And you need to deal with that, because otherwise, if you don't deal with it here, it's not going to get solved when you go into business. So I really want to speak to those of you who have this, going on in your head. I'm loving this. I'd love to do it, but I don't have the money. Because the alternative belief operating under this is what you really need to confront here, is that you're actually prepared to leave money on the table by not investing in how you can make the money. Does that make sense? Because for every thought you have, there's usually a little limiting idea underneath that one that unfortunately continues to operate until you change it, or you take massive action and you act anyway, or you apply high intention and commitment to overcome it, to push through and get that forward progress. And look, here's the other thing too. I often find that people who have this attitude spend money on the wrong places too. They don't prioritize investing in the places that's actually going to help them get forward motion and get them out of the situation that they're in, so that they can make even more money to buy what they want and be in that position where they can get what they want. I don't want you to be that kind of person who's been to my webinar 3 years down the track, you come back and you say, things haven't changed, right? Because you need to know that it's focused action that changes things. It's not finances over time. Time will not shift things. You've got to take some actions somewhere. And as I've said many times before, this is the foundation work that you start with. Okay, so let's start looking at some of these frequently answered questions as you've got them coming in there in the chat box. I want to start by answering the most frequently asked question: will I get the clarity? And the answer is yes, because you're being guided to go deep within yourself in a way that you've probably never been before, even though you may have done a lot of work. Because I get that from everybody. I get that from people who've been doing personal and spiritual work for decades, and they still have profound shifts and connections. It's all about getting clarity. Every single step in here is all about getting clarity. So the answer is a big yes. Let me just show you an unsolicited email I got from Sally Thompson here. She just sent an email when she was in the middle of Module 1 saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. You know, she's thriving on the process, and she's never been able to see herself this clearly before. And now she's excited to finally uncover her gifts and really own them consciously. And she's a master healer. Like, this is somebody who's been on the spiritual path for decades. And then there's Sharon, who said that she's completing Module 1 today and she's gained some great clarity that has her excited. So yes, yes, yes on yes, you will get the clarity. Even if you've got in the back of your mind that there's something wrong with you, because there's nothing wrong with you. Great. So, and by the way, if I don't get to your question at the end, I'm going to be emailing. So here's a question I get asked a lot as well. Will this work for me even when I don't have an idea for my business? The answer is yes, because this is what you need to know to help you put your business model together, to get your idea clarified. Will this work for me if I have an existing business already on purpose or following my calling? And again, the answer is yes. And there's obviously a reason you're here. There's some missing pieces. Something's not firing up as much as you want. So we're going to find out what those missing pieces are. And, you know, to be honest, if you're already sort of kind of on track or you've got a general idea, those are the people that get the fastest results from this program, just simply because you're already in motion. The other question I get a lot is, I'm doing another program. Can I do this program in conjunction with this one, or is it best to wait? It's never best to wait to put a foundation down. It's never best to wait to put the wheels on your car, right? This is what you need to move forward. So yes, you can do this in conjunction with other programs. And what I actually find is that the program that you're doing, you'll end up getting better results with, because you're doing this foundation work. Can I do this program later? Well, the answer is yes and no. Just depends. And certainly the prices that are here today, gone tomorrow. So that you got to consider that. But what I really find behind this question is, I'd like to do it now, but I don't have either the time or the money, or I'm not ready trap. And here's the deal. If your soul has brought you here, right, and you're here now, right now, you're still here, then obviously it wants this. It wants to move forward because it's brought you here. So you are ready. It's just that mind kicking in to make excuses to not take action, right? And again, remember, this is the course that's also got that component in it that's going to get you out of indecision and get you into action. So you just really need to push yourself along if you're wanting to do it. If you don't want to do it, it's a completely different story. But if you are wanting to do it, but you're pushing it off further, then what you're saying is, I'm going to try and drive my car without the wheels, or with only one wheel. And that doesn't make sense to me, and it shouldn't make sense to you either. So now it's decision time, really. It's like, are you in or you're out? If you're in, you just simply choose which option is going to work for you. The website you want to go to is rightmissionrightmoney.com, or you can click the link in the corner. And just really briefly, what happens once you register, you're going to automatically go to the login page for the Mission Mastery Academy, where Right Mission, Right Money is and delivered. So you can choose your login right then and there, get started if you want. You're also going to get an email welcoming you, and a series of emails that step you through each module as we go. You'll also get another email to help you choose what time zone you want to show up in for your guidance calls. So comprehensive, works well. So I've really done my best to try and think of everything here for you. And finally, this is where you can get the map of every step you need in place to build that solid foundation and structure for your business. You go to nicolagrace.com/WG. and you can download that, print it, stick it up on your wall. So from now on, when things aren't going well in your business, you know you're out of alignment somewhere in all of these 5 steps and the various different elements that form up those 5 steps. And I want to leave you with this quote from Mark Twain. He says, 20 years from now, you will be more disappointed by the things you didn't do than by the ones you did do. So throw off the bow line, sail away from the safe harbor, catch the trade winds in your sails, explore, dream, discover. And I love that quote because it's so true. It's been my personal experience that you do regret having not taken action in a timely fashion on things that you want to do. That all being said, that's it from me for now. And thank you so much for listening all the way to the end. I think people that come all the way to the end are really awesome. So pat yourself on the back. I hope you've taken lots of notes. And if you've seen everything that you've learned here, this is just a smidgen, a very small portion of what you will learn when you join the Right Mission, Right Money program. Not only that, there's the discovery that you finally get to know why you're on the planet and what you're really here to do, and how to proceed forward in your mission, and how to make your business profitable. For those of you who have decided to join me, thank you so much. I will be speaking to you real soon, and I wish you all the best on your journey, and I'm so glad I was able to provide some useful information for you today. Bye for now, everybody.